Hello children, today I have taken chapter 4 from the diary of Anne Frank, written by Anne Frank herself. This is a chapter from the book First Flight, and this is about a girl. This is an excerpt actually taken from the diary of Anne Frank only. So this is that girl who was just 13 years old when she had written this diary, and it became one of the most read books in the world. It is about a girl who had gone into hiding with her family during World War II, and she has written about how the day-to-day life of her and her family during that time. Now, before we proceed, I will tell you a little bit about World War II. World War II, or you can say Second World War, it lasted from 1939 to 1945. Majority of the world's countries, including all the greatest powers, Germany, Japan, UK, France, etc., they, along with the other 30 countries, they formed two opposing military alliances. So there were two sides. One was called the Allies and the other the Axis. And it was like one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. It included massacres, genocides. Genocide means destroying a group of particular race, nationality or ethnicity in part or in whole. Like in this case, it was Jews. They were after the lives of Jews. They wanted to wipe Jews out of this world. So murders were carried out in mass shootings. They were sent in the concentration camps where they were starved to death, and they were put into poisonous gas chambers, and lot of atrocities were done against them. So from the diary of Anne Frank, we come to know about how difficult life they had gone through during their hideout. Moreover, you will come to know how Anne used to cope up with the stress, and how beautifully she used to write about her musings and whatever reflected in her mind. So she could not survive the war. That is the saddest part. She went actually later somebody told about their hideout, and they got somebody betrayed them, and they were taken away from their hideout to the concentration camp where they could not survive, except her father. Everybody died except her father. So her father was the only survivor, and she died just a few months before before the war got over, in the month of either February or March. It is not confirmed, but during that time she died of typhus. Typhus is a kind of bacterial infection because of poor sanitary conditions and crowding up. So this was basically written, this diary was written in Dutch. Later it got published in English, and when actually it was her father who got this published. When he found the book, he found the diary, and the book sold well. Around 3,000 copies of the first edition sold out quickly. So World War II was one of the darkest period of human history, and she could not survive such atrocities of life. So let's read the chapter. Let's read the chapter now. Anneliese Marie Anne Frank, 12 June 1929. She was born on 12 June 1929 and died either in the month of February or March in 1945 in the concentration camp. Was a German-born Jewish girl. She was born in Germany, so she was a German, but she was Jewish girl who wrote while in hiding with her family and four friends in Amsterdam during the German occupation of the Netherlands in World War II. Her family had moved to Amsterdam after the Nazis gained power in Germany. Actually, her family had come to Amsterdam, and they were he was running some business there, and it was going on all okay. But when Nazis gained power in Germany and they extended their occupation to Netherlands, they have to go into the hideout. Okay, but were trapped when the Nazi occupation extended into the Netherlands. As persecutions against the Jewish population increased, persecutions means murder, mass murder. So persecutions against the Jewish population increased, the family went into hiding in July 1942 in hidden rooms in her father Otto Frank's office building. In the hidden rooms upstairs only, in her father's office building only. And there were a few friends and staff members who were helping them for food and other supplies. After 2 years in hiding, the group was betrayed and transported to the concentration camp system, where Anne died of typhus. But somebody betrayed them and they got caught, and then they were transported to the concentration camp system, where Anne died of typhus in Bergen-Belsen within days of her sister Margot Frank. She had a sister also. She died just few days before Anne. Her father Otto, the only survivor of the group, returned to Amsterdam after the war ended. He was the only survivor of the war, so he came back to Amsterdam to find that her diary had been saved. Convinced that it was a unique record, he took action to have it published in English under the name The Diary of a Young Girl. So it was published as a book. Her daughter's diary was published as a book with the name The Diary of a Young Girl in English. Otherwise, it was written in Dutch by Anne. The diary was given to Anne Frank for her 13th birthday. That diary was given by her father only on her 13th birthday and chronicles the events of her life from 12 June 1942. And she started making entries in that. She started writing in the diary, and the entries had started from 12 June 1942 until its final entry of 1st August 1944. Okay, so it was eventually translated from its original Dutch into many languages and became one of the world's most widely read books. There have also been several films, television and theatrical productions, and even an opera based on the diary. Described as the work of a mature and insightful mind. She had a very, by her work, after reading the book, we can understand that how mature and insightful her mind was. The diary provides an intimate examination of daily life under Nazi occupation. Anne Frank has become one of the most renowned and discussed of the Holocaust victims. So now we will read ahead. Now this match the columns, I have done it for you. You can just see and do it in your book. Writing in a diary is a really strange experience for someone like me. So she considers it a strange experience when she sets off writing the diary. Not only because I have never written anything before, but also because it seems to me that later on, neither I nor anyone else will be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. She was just thinking whether it would be of any use writing the diary, whether she herself would be interested in her own musings. Musings means her thoughts. When she's absorbed in thought and writing about something. So whether she would be interested in her musings or anyone else later. So he was just she was just wondering about it. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Then she, just shrugged off the idea, and she said to herself, I feel like writing. And I have an even greater need to get all kinds of things off my chest. It is not just about writing. She just wanted to get things off her chest. That means she had a lot of secrets to write about, which she could not tell anybody, or about something which was worrying her, or maybe she was feeling guilty about, or some kind of secret.